ARESxGOD here, and it's time to talk about Undead Unluck. And honestly, this episode, I don't know how the series keeps getting better and better with each episode, more fun, more intriguing here, thanks to this new character that we meet this time around, also very connected to Andy's past, giving us some glimpses into his past, but also very important question that pretty much applies to everybody and everything, to change or not to change, and how people view change from their own perspective. And I really liked that, but also I'm more than excited for next week, what has been set up with this episode. But let's get into it and talk about it. Now, at the start, it starts with a flashback. We see a bit in the past, in 1970, at a union facility, with Andy being locked, and him using his blood to write on the wall there, happy birthday to a girl that she looked like a small vampire. That was the first impression I got from her, and she seemed very happy, also very into Andy, very interested in into him. We get to meet her a bit later on into the episode, because then back in the present, in 2020, she's just casually staying outside on a satellite. I'm very excited to find out how she's able to do that. She has her own satellite apparently, because why not? Or maybe it's part of the union, and she's tracking Andy on his yacht, which is very nice, him having a yacht. But she's gonna be the one that they're gonna have to kill to get in the organization, which is quite funny here, because before we get to that, also I have Fuko. She was so cute and wholesome this episode, being scared. She was hiding under some seats in the boat to not be hunted by the organization there, and we're gonna be attacked. No, this is gonna be okay, don't worry about it. And the timing, of course, they get attacked there by two fighter jets, and Andy is able to take one out, shooting a fist at it. And probably my favorite thing about the series right now, of course I'm intrigued, the characters, the story, the plot points, the twist, has to be the power system, and how versatile and the ingenuity to use it here, not just with Andy, but everything that I've seen so far. I think it's one of the most interesting power system I've seen, and I've watched a lot of anime, and we're just at the start. I really hope they can keep up with the power system and doesn't get worse, but I'm sure they're gonna do much better when we find out a lot more about the series and everything here. Now, Andy kind of foreshadows a bit, saying that they have three possible targets they can take out. One is called Unbreakable, that made that katana. Oh, and also speaking of katana, we're gonna get to that, how he uses his own body as a sheath. But one is Unbreakable. Second is the engineer that experimented on him when he was locked up. And third is the vampire girl that we meet. Apparently she can create barriers, and that's how she was able to catch him. So it seems like in the first episode they kind of used something similar with that sphere ball they had when Andy's head got locked in. Maybe they got inspired by how the vampire girl caught him there, but he couldn't escape those barriers, so they're very strong. I don't know if indestructible, but that's how they caught him the first time around. Now, what I liked here about Andy is not his power, which I think is the most scary thing about him. It's honestly his experience, how long he has lived, but also his mind, the way he works, and how much he's able to deduce and go on with very little information, adapt to pretty much everything, and starts focusing on Fuko's ability Unluck, trying to figure out how it works, teasing her a bit with doing more edgy shenanigans and things like that, and slowly focusing on how it works. But also throughout this, we also see the vampire girl saying she loves Andy. We later find out why exactly she said that, but I'm gonna get to that throughout the video and episode. And I got the feeling that she feels kind of, not love, a bit more obsessed with him, with how she was looking and talking about him there, and starts targeting him with the satellite, the boat gets destroyed, and Andy has to go in and save Fuko. She got caught under the wreckage there. Uses his own body like industrial equipment to push the boat up with his regen. The power system is so good here. And he saves her, brings her up on the surface there. And he gets an idea saying he pretending to surrender to test out Fuko's unlock if he can be controlled, which he starts figuring out a way to do just that a bit. And related to the range of the objects, usually it's focused around her, but with the meteor and everything else, it also can pull in objects there. It depends on how much values she puts on the things and on the action that trigger the unlock there. And this is why I really like Andy, how his mind works quite well. And the reason why is because he did CPR on her and touched her boobs. Of course, it's ecchi, I get it, whatever, get over it if it bothers you. But here, also saying he did mouth to mouth, which, yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of unlock being triggered right now. We also have him again with the power system. He jumps on that plane and he uses his own arm as a sheet for the sword using the EI technique, draw instantly, and he boosts the drawing power of the sword with his regen powers, and I really love that quite a lot. He's able to cut a bit the cockpit of the plane, and he steals the plane. Why not? That was such a cool moment there from Andy. Now they have a cool new transportation system there, but unfortunately the self-destruct gets triggered after a while, so they have to eject. And he uses the technique of 5-point landing that he learned, which works, but mainly works thanks to his regen. Uses his body as a cushion to allow them to have a safe landing, and also for Fuko to survive here. And they finally reach the Baikal lake, and I gotta say the animation and the scenery looked amazing in this episode. But also the cool thing that was here was for Fuko to see the world a bit. She has been a shut-in, not being able to live her life with people, with locations, with everything pretty much, and her meeting Andy has been so important for her and also for him here when they reached there, with her seeing new things, traveling, and him allowing her to do just that. Hey, go around, have some sightseeing. They're not gonna do anything with civilians around. Take your time, enjoy this while I go look for my war buddies. And I really love that moment. They're giving her time for herself. But also Fuko posed a really interesting question, which I think is gonna be very important forward probably. What if the target that we have to kill is reasonable? We can talk to them, is nice. And I'm just like, no, we just kill them instantly. Now, I don't think they're gonna kill the vampire girl. She feels like a bit important character here, but hey, I would be fine either way. We're gonna get to that because I kind of like her. But Andy also says, hey, I'm gonna bring some food over. I have a friend that has a restaurant. Now he goes off on his own, and Fuko feels a bit overwhelmed being alone, not being able to interact with people. Of course, she's not gonna get over her trauma, her insecurities, her problem instantly. That's not how trauma works, basically. So you can just snap your fingers and suddenly everything is okay there. Slow and steady first steps, take your time with everything. And she finds this girl painting, an artist, and of course it's the vampire chick. And I'm not sure if she's an actual vampire, but that's by her design. That's what the feel I'm getting from her. And she's a weeb. They bound off a bit, they connect. She's definitely a weeb. She instantly went off when she realized Fuko was Japanese there. Very, very high energy. I really liked her quite a lot. First impressions from her, and also revealing a bit with Fuko didn't go to high school thanks to her condition, and she also likes to paint, but she's a bit shy about it. But slowly I really like this bonding moment between them. They start painting the scenery there. And also very important question by the vampire girl. What do you like more? Stuff that change or stuff that say to stay the same? Which it's kind of hard to say. I kind of like both things. If it was about me, I like stuff that also stay the same, consistency, you know what you can rely on, but stagnating is also very bad. So for me, I don't think it's one or the other. It depends what is the subject at hand when it comes to change. But stagnating is much more dangerous in general. And she says something like she likes stuff that don't change at all. And I think that's why she's a bit obsessed with Andy, because he doesn't change or he doesn't die here. And also considering that was 1970, it explains how Andy is alive. 1970, and of course he didn't age. But then now in 2020, she's a bit older, she's not a kid anymore. But how is she not old, like an old lady here, like everything? Huh? Is she an actual vampire? That's why I'm getting my first thought was vampire watching the episode here. So I don't know if she's an actual vampire. Maybe it's related to her power, but something to keep in mind, how she didn't actually age that much there. But also she connects a bit with Fuko, because Fuko decides to take a bit of time to respond to that question. Let me think about it. And I have to say, the water, everything, the scenery, the backgrounds looked so good here. You can actually have so many wallpapers from this episode with that lake there. And after this, Fuko being shy with her painting, and I was expecting it to be like a doodle or something like that, thinking a bit of Rukia, how good Rukia from Bleach is at drawing. But Fuko is actually really good and very talented. He looked amazing there. And even the wholesome part when she said she gave friends to the moon, the sparkle things, as the vampire girl called them in the background around the moon there. And I really liked that quite a lot. And Fuko starts sharing a bit with her life, how she has always been a shut-in, but how change affected her after she met Andy. Of course, she's frustrated a bit, letting everything out, venting, but also feeling grateful for that, because Andy allowed her to change, to move forward a bit, to have something to live for, considering she wanted to take her life. And this is why change is also really good. And the vampire girl, even though it went a bit in against her philosophy, she kind of connected with Fuko a bit with her words and what she said, saying maybe it's thanks to old age. I don't know how old she is exactly, but I really like that moment. And this is why I don't think they're gonna kill the vampire girl, because after that things get a bit more serious. The platform or the lake starts lifting up, and it looked great that I think she created a barrier or something. I don't know how exactly that worked, but yeah, it looked great. She goes on the platform, and Andy comes in, instantly attacking, confirming it's the girl that captured him in 1970 there. And we finally get her name being revealed, Jenna. Kind of like the name, cute, straight to the point. They bicker a bit with Andy insulting her feet there. Face started cracking a bit, which I don't know what exactly that means there. And she said something very interesting. So I got information from the boss, which, good point. I'm curious who exactly is the boss. I don't think Shen is the boss. Could Shen be the boss of the 10 that are there? Maybe he informed her. Or is there somebody above the 10? That's gonna be interesting when we find that out, how exactly the union organization works, a lot more about it. But she says, if you want to join, you have to change me first, which that's why I don't think they're gonna kill her. Maybe they're gonna find another way to join the organization. A fight is probably gonna happen, which I'm very excited for next week, but kind of want her to stay alive. I like her, and I like the interactions between her and Fuko and Andy. I'm curious how Andy is gonna handle with Jenna being the one that captured him, and also poses the question, how exactly did he escape? Maybe she let him out, or I don't know, because him wishing happy birthday to the girl that captures him, I think there's something more there, and even by the way they interacted here. But anyway, I rambled way too much. Awesome episode. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about Undead Unluck and this episode. What do you think about the new character? And if you have read the source material, how is the adaptation so far? We're 3 episodes in, 3 episode rule. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Undead Unluck. I'm gonna see you again on the next one. Make sure to check out the podcast because anime. So bye bye.